So guys, now I'm here with Danny, Director of Communications from Bandai Namco, and I have a very important question. Danny, our fans have been asking us a lot about the VOs of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. What can you tell us about that?
So I can tell you Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 will have English and Japanese VO, and then in terms of subtitling, we will have English, Brazilian Portuguese, and neutral Spanish in the game when it launches.
Okay, and what about the VOs, the Brazilian and Latin American VOs?
So, as you know, VO is a very difficult thing to put in a game. And when we're trying to integrate like the original actors to provide the VO for the game, now we have to match their schedules with our development schedule. And it's such a difficult task that this time for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, we were not able to complete that. So we're only going to have the subtitling in the Latin American languages, both neutral Spanish and Brazilian Portuguese. But I want to say, I mean, that actually makes both Saint Seiya Soldier Soul and Naruto Storm 4 such special games, because those two games were like all the stars were aligned and the planets were aligned at the same time, and we got all the actors together along with our development schedule. It all matched perfectly, and we were able to provide the Latin American VO for those two games. Now, I know our fans in Latin America have seen us improve our localization, and we're definitely still supporting that. It's just a lot of times it's a scheduling issue that would prevent us from doing that.
Okay, but we do have a lot of reasons to be happy about Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, don't we? Have you seen the game already?
Absolutely. I mean, we've been doing demos for the game all day. It's looking amazing. If you're into bigger and better battles, we're definitely delivering that. The DIMS team's doing a great job of expanding the experience as well. Like the original city, the hub city Toki Toki, the counterpart in the new game, Kanton City, it's 7 times bigger. And we can have like 300 different players in that city together, online, interacting with each other. So you're going to be able to adventure with so many different people. The character customization is back in a bigger and more robust way. And at the end of the day, we've even put in a few new characters from the new movie, the new Dragon Ball movie. So, you know, like, I gotta say, future Goku's in there. So if you're a fan of the movie, you can play some of the characters in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. So, you know, it's going to be a great adventure. We're going to be launching the game at the end of this year. So, you know, hopefully fans will look out for more, and we'll be coming down to Latin America to demo. So look for more news very soon.
In the first Xenoverse, I created a human fighter. But what breed do you think I can create now to my character in Xenoverse 2?
そうですね、難しい質問ですけど、1作目はですね、自分自身が作ったのはフリーザアバターだったんですけども、2で言うならば、ナメックがいいかなと思います。というのも、もちろん前作の部分も含めて、ちゃんと各種族同じぐらいの強さになるように平等にやってるんですけども、今回は2ならではというところで、新しい驚きの要素っていうのも、各種族において入れようというふうに思っているので、詳しくはいないんですけども、今後の情報で期待してもらえればなというふうに思ってますので、ぜひ待ってほしいなというふうに思います。
Okay, obviously feedback was very important with the second game. How will you guys handle feedback the second time around actively? Because there's going to be support for next year. So if, let's say the community doesn't like one thing but they like something else, how will you work with the community to implement the features to work better, I guess? That makes sense. What was the biggest challenge this time around?
Alright, so the truth is, when he was working on Dragon Ball Xenoverse, the first one, he did everything that he actually wanted to do.
Okay.
He was able to accomplish a lot on that one. So, in terms of what was difficult, to be honest, the truth is, it was difficult thinking about how to make it different from Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1.
Right.
And then we're constantly thinking about new features, how to make it different, how to deliver a new experience, constantly putting that to shape. So we hope you can look forward to that.
Okay. And I guess the last question I have is, and this is just to kind of clarify something up, there's going to be support for a year. There's also going to be DLCs. That's how the game works. Can you differentiate what's going to be different from DLC and then free updates? I know you can't say everything, but is there like any clarification about that one?
Basically, whatever we're telling people about free updates versus DLC.
Yeah.
Sorry, we can't go into that much. we can't tell much about this, but the reason why we're kind of focusing on post-launch free updates is because the whole concept of this game is because we want players to be able to play the game for a really long period of time.
Right.
And for the first Dragon Ball Xenoverse, we actually weren't able to do that many free updates, but we did have DLCs. So if we wanted players to play Dragon Ball Xenoverse for a long time, it was like saying, please purchase the paid DLCs. And for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, we want players to be able to play regardless of whether they buy the DLCs or not.
Right.
So that's why we're focusing on the free updates.
Okay.
That's the current status.
Okay. And I guess the last question is there something that you couldn't do in this game because of restrictions or lack of resource?
To be honest, no, there's not much things that he couldn't accomplish on this
Okay.
one. Because even if he couldn't do it right now, he plans to do so after the release. So.
Okay.
行くわけわかった。
So in terms of the story mode, we are quite focusing on people who didn't purchase Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1. We want them to be able to have the same experience and be able to enjoy the story of Dragon Ball Xenoverse. And so for the people who actually played the first Dragon Ball Xenoverse, we are having a lot of features, a portion of save data carryover features as well. So I'm sure they'll enjoy that as well. But maybe at this point of time, we don't have enough, well maybe, ちょっと難しいんだけど、
ちょっと弱かったね。
maybe it was a little weak
Okay.
for the players who played Dragon Ball Xenoverse. But we are currently planning to do, well, maybe add in more new features. This is completely up in there, so nothing is decided. But
Okay.
we do want to support people who played Dragon Ball Xenoverse, the first one as well. So both
Okay.
in terms of the battle and the story as well.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question about so in Xenoverse 1. So say you play Xenoverse 1, is there going to be, I don't know if they can really say, but like, since you played it and you grinded a lot, is there going to be some things transferred over to Xenoverse 2? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like
Yeah.
the stats and stuff.
Yeah, no, not stats, but like, you know, like maybe like items or moves, you know, like,
Oh,
because it is
okay.
a sequel, so like,
So basically, like, what exactly is transferring over?
yeah, didn't they say they're going
Because you can transfer your characters over, but it didn't specify what the details are for that one.
Yeah.
So. But that's one of those questions like.
Alright, so since the story of Dragon Ball Xenoverse takes place a few years after Dragon Ball Xenoverse, the time patroller that you created for Dragon Ball Xenoverse, the first one, is known as a hero in this
Okay.
time setting. And this was included in the press kit, which you guys haven't seen since it's in a press kit, but
It's going to be the hologram.
yeah, exactly. So if you have a save data of Dragon Ball Xenoverse, then the avatar that you were using in Dragon Ball Xenoverse will be
okay.
the hologram. And also some of the items, costumes, attacks that you had on your previous avatar will be carried over to your new Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 as well. And also the avatar that you created for the first one is going to be appearing in the story mode as well.
Ooh.
Ooh. So I'm not going to answer that question.
衣装とかは一部って言ってた、ちゃんと言った
he wanted me to clarify that it's just a portion of the costumes or
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Excited.
言いました。はい。
How challenging was it to come up with the Xenoverse ending?
Well, to be honest, it wasn't that difficult. He was really enjoying creating that ending of Xenoverse. But he kind of wanted to ask you why you're asking that.
Well, the ending did leave us hanging, you know, and it was kind of hinted to a lot of people that there would be a possible potential sequel. So that's why I was asking that, you know.
I heard this for the first time, but the characters Mila and Toa, they're original characters, but they're very important. They were created actually by Toriyama Akira, the author himself. And these guys are quite popular, and they appear in Japanese other games as well. And we couldn't quite kill them. So that's one of the reasons why it ended up like that.
Good question.
How did you come up with the item drop feature for the clothes and the attacks? And maybe, do you think they'll return for Xenoverse 2, or we'll see something similar?
I know you're saying that because you didn't like it, but because we received a lot of feedback from fans saying that some items, some costumes, some attacks were too difficult to acquire. And so we really listened to that, and we are planning to change that for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. So we're not just going to make it super simple. We're not going to make it that easy. But we're really, currently, we can't say how at this point in time, but we're planning to change that system on how you can gather those attachments and items, simply because we want players to be able to move on to online fighting, online matching in a very satisfying way.
How many DLCs did you originally plan for Xenoverse 2? Like, was there more than the ones up in the air during the development that were postponed for a different project?
Two or one?
One.
Oh, for one. We said two.
Well, for one.
Okay. All right. So, in terms of the number of DLCs, everything that we released was already planned during the development. So after we were done creating the base game, we realized that there was a little more that we wanted to do. So that's when we started the development of the DLCs for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1. And there weren't actually any DLCs that were postponed for another project.